Hello and a big welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a full review and tour of RIU Hotel in Falmouth, Jamaica. This is the newest hotel that RIU has to offer. To be honest, staying at this hotel is expensive. It's all inclusive. That means you get all the alcoholic drinks and food for free, and entertainment is included as well. The staff goes out of their way to make sure that you're having a great time. It's one of, again, the nicest hotel that RIU has. With that being said, you're likely going to enjoy your time here, but there are a few things I think you should know before making that final reservation. Most folks come here for primarily two things, the beach and the food. And the first thing we're going to do is explore all of your food options. And this right here, what you're looking at right now, is the all-inclusive buffet. And there are two things that I judge buffets on. Number one, the variety of food, and number two is going to be the quality. This hotel is by no means perfect. However, one thing that they absolutely got right is going to be the food. The food here tastes absolutely fantastic. It's well seasoned. They have professional chefs on staff to make the food. Oftentimes you're making the food right in front of you so you know that it's fresh, and there is a huge variety. So if you have a special dietary need, it's going to be met here. It's not going to be a problem whatsoever. So when it comes to the food, as far as the quality, you're in good luck. Now, when it comes to the variety, also, you are going to be very happy. There are tons of food for every single type of taste that you may have. And also, one of the things I really love is that they have a Jamaican station. So one of the reasons why I came to Jamaica is because Jamaica is known not just for the entertainment and the music, but also for having great food. And by having the Jamaican station, even though I didn't get a chance to go much outside of this hotel, I was able to eat Jamaican food every day, and all the food changes up all the time. What you are looking at right now is the main buffet. However, they do have specialty restaurants that serve unique types of cuisine. However, you're not going to be disappointed. The main buffet serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you just come into the buffet, take your food, go sit down, and then their wait staff will wait on you at your table and bring you whatever sort of drink you want. The week that we were there, the hotel was full and there was never a line. Plenty of seats and food available. And also, they never really ran out of any type of food. Sometimes they may run a little bit low, and one or two foods they may run out of, but for the most part, they're not going to run out. And also, they have electronic signs that show you exactly what you are eating. When it comes to seating options, you have one of two choices. Number one, most people choose to sit inside, and there are plenty of spaces on the inside. One of the things I really liked was the fact that they had huge windows that allow you to look right outside, and your view was spectacular because you're right next to the ocean. However, you're inside a closed structure, so you didn't have to worry about it getting too hot or cold. The staff service was great, and there was also an outdoor eating space. I prefer this area because it had the breeze and you could hear the ocean in the background, and it had spectacular views. If you didn't want to come inside, there's also a jerk station outside, and that's called Pete's Food. So that serves really Jamaican delicacies like jerk chicken and jerk pork. And there's also cappuccino in the main lobby that serves mostly dessert type options and coffee and cappuccino. There are several specialty restaurants on site, and unlike when you're on a cruise ship or maybe some other resorts, these specialty restaurants have no upcharge to them. All you have to do is go through the massive inconvenience of simply making a reservation. However, if you look inside, you can see that there's not a lot of seating space. So I would recommend this is something that you need to do early because it does fill up, and there's oftentimes a wait list to try to get into these spaces. However, it is a phenomenal eating option, especially if you want to do a special dinner for, like, say, an anniversary or a birthday. All that kind of stuff can be done here at absolutely no additional cost. Check-in time is around 3 or 4 o'clock. However, our flight got in pretty early, so we got in at around noon. The great thing about coming here is that you can check in as early as whenever you arrive. So your hotel room may not be available. However, if you get there early, you can simply walk around and begin to explore the resort. As far as getting lost, it's very simple. Once you are here for maybe a few hours, you get it's a very simple layout, and also there's these signs that help you understand where you are and where you're going. Let's talk about the outside outdoor green space. This hotel, the grounds is absolutely beautiful. This right here is just in front of the rooms, and as you can see, you have to walk through this green space to get to the beach area, but there are tons of plant life all around the hotel. It's definitely a tropical environment. Tropical plants and flowers are in bloom, it seems like all the time. It's expertly maintained. There are wait staff that are working on the property all the time to make sure that it is absolutely pristine every single time that we're there. So when it comes to the outside green space, you definitely feel like you're in a tropical environment. It is absolutely breathtaking. Jamaica's #1 industry is tourism. This is the economy. It's built all around people from abroad coming here and spending lots of time on the beach. And that's what I like to talk about right now. If you book one of the most expensive hotels in Jamaica, there is absolutely no guarantee that it will be located on a great beach. However, RIU Hotel in Falmouth is on a fantastic beach area. We're talking about white powdery sand, that's crystal clear water, that's turquoise and blue, great for swimming and snorkeling. It is a phenomenal beach area. It's littered with palm trees all around, so it gives you natural shading. Also, there are umbrellas all throughout the beach, and it's a long beach area. So even though the hotel was at full capacity when we were there, I never felt that the beach area was full. I just want to give you an overview of what the entire area looks like. So I'm going to pan the camera around. You see the hotel in the background, and you see all these chairs directly in front of the hotel. It has a pretty long beach area, and again, natural covering. So it's just breathtaking. So you walk out your room, and most of these rooms have beach views or ocean views. So it's just the way they design the hotel, and also the way they have the chairs. They're oftentimes in rows of, say, maybe 4 or 5 deep. However, if you want to get one of the chairs that are, say, in the front, you got to get out there as early as maybe around 7:30. That was basically what I saw. But once you get out there and you set your towel up, you can come back later after having breakfast, and you can sit out here all day long and get this breathtaking view. This is worth all the money in the world. This hotel is not inexpensive. You're going to pay thousands of dollars for being here, and you're paying essentially for this. In this image, I want to show you what the water quality looks like. Even though it's a bit rough today, it's pretty windy. Sometimes it's not always like this, but you can see the water is even though it's kind of, really rough right now, the sand is white and the water is crystal clear. It has that nice turquoise blue. When you go in here with your snorkel gear on, you can see all the way down to your toes without any obstruction. The beach is actually cleaned every single day, but there's, some debris on the beach, but it just gives it, in my opinion, that natural feel. One of the many things I love about Jamaica is that it doesn't matter what time of year it is, it's 75 to 80 degrees all year round in Jamaica. The only difference is that sometimes in Jamaica it gets a little bit more rainy than the next. However, when it comes to temperature and the beach quality, it's always going to be pristine and absolutely beautiful. No difference whatsoever. So if you're here in the middle of the winter, it's going to be nice warm water. Middle of the summer, it doesn't matter whatsoever. If you want to compare this RIU to the one in Negril, the difference you're going to find with this and 7 Mile Beach is that 7 Mile Beach, the water tends to be far calmer. This right here can be a little bit wavy. Some people, like my kids, enjoy the wave. In fact, they don't like 7 Mile Beach, while I love 7 Mile Beach. However, this can be a little wavy, but if you have concerns, I strongly recommend, if your family, just basically hang out with the lifeguards and tell them to keep an eye on your kids, because it wasn't a problem. There wasn't a current or anything like that, or riptides, but it does get a little wavy. Some people absolutely love interactions with the locals. I tend to be one of them. I love to talk to them and find out about their life history and story and all that kind of stuff. But some people find them to be quite aggressive, especially when they're trying to sell you something. The great news, maybe the bad news, is that this is a private beach. So you have locals that will walk through who will try to sell you something. However, they know they're not supposed to be there. So if you tell them, hey, look, I'm not interested, they're quick to move on because they don't want to get thrown off the beach. There are showers available as you walk out of the beach area onto where the pool deck is. So if you just want to jump into the ocean and take a quick dip, you can wash all that salt off you. And now I want to talk about the pools. There are a total of 4 pools on property. 2 of the 4 are adult-only pool areas, and we'll talk about that. But as you can see, this is what the pool looks like on a typical day. You see the chairs go back maybe 3 or 4 deep. Some pools tend to be more busy than others. This is the family pool, and as you can see, not very busy at all. There's also shaded areas on the pool, so if you want to be in the sun, you can, but also if you want to be in the shade and not get sunburned, there's that option available as well. Just like on the ocean, if you want to reserve a spot, you can take your towel and put it on a chair. I strongly recommend you get out maybe around 7:30 or so if you want to get one of the seats on the front that are closer towards the pool bar area. However, if you're in a family pool, generally speaking, getting chairs, I didn't find to be a problem at all. I'm just going to show you what the swim bar area looks like. Again, very popular for adults. Just want to give you also a little bit of history about the RIU Hotel. This hotel chain started all the way back in 1953. Right now, they're at about maybe say 100 hotels. The majority are going to be centered around all-inclusive family type things. However, there are some adult-only RIU hotels, and this is the pool bar area, and it is very, very popular. I love the fact that you can just walk up there and get a drink. They also serve snacks at the pool bar area. Just a little more about the hotel. There are about 100 of these hotels in about 21 countries, and this is the newest addition to the RIU chain of hotels. I'm sure by the time this video comes out, there'll be one or two more added, but for now, this is a brand spanking new hotel built from the ground up. There are differences between the different RIU. I do a full review of 2 hotels in Negril, Jamaica, so if you want to compare and contrast this hotel versus the one in Negril, be sure to check out my channel and get all of those details. Most people reserve their chairs by putting their towel in a personal item and then walking away and coming back later. However, if you end up losing your towel, there is a charge for that. Also, they give you a towel card. If you lose that, there's a charge for that too as well. So just be careful reserving seats at these beach chairs. As far as places in the hotel, there is a pool and sports club. This is open 24 hours a day. Not only can you get drinks in here, but a lot of people come in here and play board games. Also, there's some entertainment here very sporadically, and there is a bar, so you can have drinks all day long. One of the things I did not like about the sports bar was that it had a pool table that charged you about maybe $3 per game. I think if you're paying several $1,000s to stay in a hotel, charging you for playing pool maybe $3 or $4 is, in my opinion, extremely petty. So this is one of the things I did not like about this hotel. Here is another thing I didn't pretty much care for about the hotel. When it came to entertainment options, they were limited. Now, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of things that are on the board for you to do. However, it's not like a cruise ship where you have, a choice of maybe 12 things in the same hour. You have maybe a handful of things to do at the hotel. Now, most people come to the hotel and they just want to relax, stay on the beach, enjoy some sun, maybe stay in the pool, drink, eat, and just have fun in that regard. However, if you're, you want a little bit more, there also is a water park, and there's a splash park for kids, and if you with kids, we'll talk about those options too as well. However, I felt that things to do during the day was a bit limited. There are some organized things, and they have pool parties to try to entertain you, and they have some organized games and volleyballs and other things like that. However, I really felt like the entertainment options were a bit limited in this hotel, so that's one of the big drawbacks I felt in staying here. When it comes to entertainment, by far, the majority of entertainment is going to happen right here on the main stage in this auditorium area. When it came to the entertainment team, not only were they on stage dancing, but they also interacted with the crowds when they weren't on stage. They try to get people involved in the singing and the dancing. It was, I gotta say, the entertainment team was small, but they were very talented and they were very engaging. Not only is it all you can eat, and here's something that you're not gonna like, the average person who stays at this hotel gains about a pound a day. So be prepared to put on some weight. But it's also all you can drink, and there are bars that are littered throughout the resort, so you can get your drink on. So I like the spaces that they have for alcohol. The bartenders seem to be very talented. There wasn't a drink that I'd asked them to make that they weren't able to make. If you like something super exotic, you may run into some problems there. However, if you tell them what to do, they'll be happy to do it. When it comes to the quality of the liquor, I felt the liquor was pretty top shelf. They did not spare, in my opinion, expense when it came to making sure that the alcohol was up to par. Another thing I really enjoyed was the water sports activities. There's a water sports area where you could rent a paddle board or a kayak or other type of beach gear, and it was all included. If you want to do something a little bit more exotic like scuba diving or the sailboat, I think they require a license for that. That's a little bit more involved, but for the most part, most of the things are free. When I started this video, I sort of jumped right in. I never really talked about getting there, but let's talk about that now. The airport of choice, really your only choice, is going to be Montego Bay Airport, and you have to rent a bus in order to get from the airport to the hotel. That's going to take you about an hour and a half, and as far as cost wise, be prepared to pay around $50 per person. That's $25 each way. So the ride there was uneventful. The worst thing was that it was an hour and a half, but the good thing is that you got a chance to look out and see what the island looked like and where locals live. If you want to leave the hotel and get out on your own, that's not a problem whatsoever. You can do excursions and they arrange that for you at the hotel, or you can do it on your own and use the taxi, and that's the fixed prices for the taxis right there. However, this is one of my big faults with staying at this hotel. If you have never been to Jamaica, Jamaica has so much to offer. There's so much green space, things to do like climbing the waterfalls, other beaches that you can go to, and a huge assortment of attractions. If you're staying at the RIU in Falmouth, Falmouth is not really close to any of the main attraction areas in Jamaica. You can still get there from the RIU in Falmouth. The challenge is that you have to get there. Getting there is not necessarily going to be an easy venture. You're going to have to pay money to get on a bus, and you got to spend time on that transportation in order to make it to your destination. That's going to take away from your vacation experience. A lot of hotels that are located in, say, Ocho Rios, in my opinion, is the tourist capital of Jamaica because so many different things are there for you to do in Ocho Rios. But Falmouth isn't close. That means if you want to go to Dunn's River or swim with the dolphins or do any of these major things, you're going to have to find a way to get there. That's going to be expensive and, most importantly, time consuming. It takes you away from the beach and the food and all the things that the hotel has to offer. The good news is that Uber is available. It's going to be far less expensive than the taxi cost or for the excursion packages they have offered you, especially if you're with a small group. Now, if you're anything like my wife and you have no desire to leave the hotel whatsoever and you just want to stay here and be pampered and just hear the ocean and just look out and see beautiful sunsets and enjoy wonderful food while you're drinking great beer, the good news is that there's stuff on site like a spa. However, the spa is not for free. It's going to cost you a bit extra. However, if you like spa and there's a hair salon here too as well, you can do that stuff at an extra charge. If you like to get your workout on, or you want to maybe work off some of that pounds that you're putting on, again, the average person is a pound a day, there is a well-equipped gym. The gym is right next to the spa. It does have a window that allows you to look outside, and as I pan the camera around, you're going to see some of the exercise gear and equipment that they have here. When I was here, it was never full. However, it's not huge. So if you're looking for like a Gold's Gym type experience, you're not going to find that. Throughout the day, and especially in the morning, there's an outdoor fitness area. They do yoga here, Pilates, and different types of aerobic exercises. So it's a great way to get your morning started, especially if you want to do it in a relaxing way. When I was here, I was not alone. I had my family with me, and that included small kids. So part of the reason why I booked this hotel was the fact that it was family friendly. That means there were activities there that kids would love. Now, in my opinion, if you give a child, a beach, multiple pool areas, and there is a slide park, I'm going to show you that in a little bit, all you can eat food, and then entertainment at nighttime, and free Wi-Fi, we'll go over that in a little bit. More than likely, they're going to be pretty satisfied. So when it comes to kids I think are going to have a great time. I know that mine did, and all the kids I was there and spoke to, they all did. And they have ways for kids to get together and meet in Rio Land and other things like that. Now, if you have really young kids, again, there is Rio Land, and you can take them there and they will watch them. They have to be at least 4 years old. They'll watch them for portions of the day. They break for lunch, and then they watch them again for portions of the afternoon, and then they give them back to you in the evening time. But kids, especially my kids, really enjoyed their time here. I also like that they had a separate area that was just for kids. It's right outside where the main pool area is, and very close to it. But this is the children's water park area, and it's a very well appointed, great for kids between the ages. It's really designed for kids between the ages of 4 and 12. My child was 12 years old. He liked it to a point, and then after that, he just wanted to get to the natural beach. But it's a good option, and it's just for younger kids. If you have kids that are a bit older, they're more than likely going to appreciate the water slide park that you're seeing right here. Again, directly next to the pool and the small kids area. So it's kind of like connected, but not really connected. These are for older kids. Teenagers and adults are going to really enjoy the slides that are offered here. If we're all truly honest with ourselves, we're probably far more connected to our phones and the internet than we would like. And the great thing about being here is that it has a strong Wi-Fi. And that's a big thing, especially for my kids, because although they were having fun, when they weren't having fun and in between, just waiting to eat dinner or do different things, they wanted to be connected to friends and family. So if you have a phone, definitely download the WhatsApp. This allows you to call other folks who have WhatsApp. That way you can stay connected to friends and family back home. As I had mentioned earlier, I'm far more inclined to go out and explore and do. However, my wife's very different. She loves the spa. She wants to sit down, enjoy a good book for hours on end, and just hear the waves and enjoy nature and the environment and being in a beautiful place. And if that's you, there are great seating options available. Now, one of the good things is that there are lots of options. In my opinion, one of the bad things is that the best seating options are going to be in the front lobby. The front lobby, in my opinion, is oftentimes a busy place. There's people who are coming in, people who are leaving. Sometimes there are difficulties with the reception area. You don't want to be a part of it or even hear that. So the best seats are going to be in the lobby, but there are really good seats located all throughout the resort. You just have to find your space. So might be a little bit of a miss here. I wish they had taken some of these great seating options and put them in the regular hotel. We are now about to do our room tour. And the rooms that you're looking at right now is a room that I did not have. And it's one of these adults only rooms that have a pool right outside. I think it's a great option. I didn't see a lot of people using it. I think if I had the room, I would use it probably a lot more, but it is an option. It's of course at an upcharge, but it looks very nice. And as you can see, it has a beautiful view of the hotel. However, because you're so low down, you don't get an opportunity to get a view of the beach. When it comes to the hotel room, I was pleased. I had really nothing bad at all to say. I'll say this, it's larger than your typical hotel room and far nicer. This is what we're looking at right now is the bathroom. The bathroom is well appointed, very nice, very well done. It has a contemporary clean feel to it. As we're walking through, you're gonna see the rest of the hotel room. The decor on the walls, the colors, all the things match up very nicely, and we had a phenomenal view. So I have nothing negative at all to say about the hotel room. There is a small fridge in each hotel room, and unlike other hotels where when a drink is missing, somebody takes notes down and they charge you accordingly, you can drink all the alcohol in the dispensers and empty the fridge out, and they'll replace it every 2 days. So that's one thing I love about the hotel. I have to tell my kids not to touch anything or leave things alone. And as you can see, the hotel is well appointed, American outlets, USB ports, great lighting. It's a new hotel, so the hotel room is brand spanking new, so no problems there. This is the front desk and the lobby area, and I had no problems there, but one gentleman I spoke to did have a problem. One of his rooms had a small leak, so they had to change his room. So then the question then became, what do you give somebody who's staying in an all-inclusive hotel? You can't give him anything. You can't offer him dinner. You can't offer him any kind of special privilege. So the only real thing that they can really offer you was maybe something in the spa or maybe dinner on the beach or something like that. But if you have a problem, because everything is free, there's nothing really for them to give you. There are 2 retail stores on site, and if you forget anything like toothpaste, toothbrush, or anything like that, they will make you regret it because you're gonna pay maybe 3 or 4 times what it ordinarily costs. In my opinion, the store is expensive. If you buy 2 items, like say a shirt and a hat, you're spending $50. It's that expensive. So my suggestion to you is those guys who come along the beach, buy from them. So who is this hotel really designed for? Designed for families, couples? Does it do a good job of blending the two? And in my opinion, it does. I saw a lot of couples there. However, it's a family-friendly hotel, and that's the RIU brand, and it does a good job of separating the kids from the adults. I love the fact that the kids part isn't too far away from the adult part. It has a wonderful tropical feel throughout the entire hotel. In my opinion, is it worth the money? I would say yes, it is worth the money, but it's so much money that you pay to stay here. However, the staff, the quality of service that you get is spectacular. Something I enjoy about the staff that works here is they have a way of making you feel like you're the only person in the world, like you are their best friend. You know, these are people that you form friendships and relationship with, and you want to stay in contact with them after you leave the hotel. So I think the staff, the service, the quality, the food, everything come together. It's absolutely going to be worth it for you. You're not going to be disappointed. The hotel is brand new. It's clean. It's very crisp. Of all the RIU hotels I've stayed in, this is my favorite. I love the beach. Something about the beach for me is just absolutely spectacular. Also, it doesn't show that well in these photographs, but the greenery space is just phenomenal. Almost every single room at this hotel has a beach view or partial beach view. So 90% of the rooms having that, you're not going to be disappointed with your room. So overall, love my stay. Would absolutely recommend it.